welcome back to this month of May after a little pause and a month that was full of public holidays and, you know, weeks without videos. May is the month to go straight on and have an insider every week. So today I will start this month of May with something that I must say, does not occur that frequently, but it occurs more frequently than you might think, and it sometimes causes a little bit of, I would say, unsettled, because people or translators feel a little uncomfortable in addressing this issue. But there's nothing to be uncomfortable about, and we should always deal with things with transparency and truth, and just be yourself and deal with things as they arise. And the problem here is, should we point out errors in the original when we are translating? So should we do it? Should we not? So stick around and let's talk about this. So, should we point out or not if we find an error, a typo, or anything in the original documents that we are given to translate or proofread? Obviously, if we are doing a proofreading job, that's part of the job, and we should point out that the original as a typo, and the client will be actually happy. You will find it is amazing that we think that by doing these sort of things we might have a negative reaction from our clients, and it's actually the opposite. They actually feel very grateful that we found these mistakes and we point them out, because they're really important for them as well. So should we point out or not? Well, my answer is yes. If we see some error or a typo or anything that we find in the original, we should make our clients aware. And let's see why. First of all, errors can lead to a failure in the submission. If, for example, they submitting documentation into a governmental body or anything else for, part of an application, that application may be refused because the original document has some information that is not accurate. And I'm going to give you an example that happened to me. For example, I was given a document that had someone's date of birth, and because it was two people that were included in the same application, the date of birth when the issuing body emitted that certificate, they mistakenly put the same date of birth for the two people, which was wrong. So when I was obviously translating this document, I noticed that mistake because I had other documents that had the date of birth of that person, and I pointed it out to the client. Now, another question that you may ask, and rightly so, for example, if something similar to what happened to me, and you see the same date of birth for two people, which obviously can happen. There's people that share the same birthday, and it's perfectly normal. Quite rare that, for example, someone with the same birthday or date of birth would marry someone else with the same date of birth. It's rare, but it's not impossible. But if it happens and you don't have any other document that help you identify it as an error, I would still ask the client. I would ask them, look, I'm translating this document, it has the same date of birth here. Is this correct? Do you really have the same date of birth? Or is obviously a mistake? Because obviously a same date of birth, the same year, the same month, everything, it is quite likely that it might be a mistake. So by pointing it out, um, you know, you will help your client, because obviously, if a document with inaccurate information is standard on an application, the official body or any other body that is going to deal with that particular application, they're going to find out, they're going to see that that particular document is not accurate, there is a mistake in it, and they may refuse the application altogether. Then there's obviously the ethical part of it. I know, and I know that our job, it's not to verify the authenticity or anything from the original document. That's not our job. However, and as a part of our job, we we must be honest, we must be upfront, and this is not verifying the authenticity of the document. It's not verifying if the document is authentic or if the information is accurate. What means is we have documents that are conflicting, that have conflicting information, in my case on that project, and we see that. So ethically, I think and this is my opinion, and I think it's our duty to point it out to the client, because if a document says something and another document says something else, that means that one of those documents may have an error, and that may mean that the document is not accurate and needs to be rectified. And that, I think, is our duty to point out to our clients. This is how I see it. Again, if the document is a letter, a website, or any other marketing material or other material as well, it can damage your client's brand as well. Let's imagine you are translating a client's website, and there's an error, and you see an error on the website, you see a typo. I think it is really important that you point that out to your client, and you say, look, I found a little typo, or I found a mistake in here. And they will be grateful that you pointed it out, because it's their reputation, it's their image on the line. And if their website goes out full of errors, full of mistakes, obviously people will see them as clumsy, are not very careful with their image, with their look, and of course that it's not very good for them and their brand. So I would always say that it's important, because it can lead to the failure of a submission in case of an application, and it can damage a brand in case of marketing material or anything else. Or even a letter. If you write a letter that is full of errors, then it's not a very good look for you, is it? Then, and as I said, it's part of our customer service. And for me, customer service is the main thing here. And I think it's very important that we realize that a business that does not provide good customer service is doomed to fail. And that's what I believe. You know, even though, and as I said, even though our job is translating the document, not making, you know, any verification of any accuracy or anything, I think it's part of our customer service. If we find any error, if we find anything that may cause any issues, we, as a good business person, should point it out to the client and say, oh, well, I just found this. Could you please clarify, sorry, this, is this correct? Should I proceed? Is this correct? Or is this an error that should be rectified? And the customer will be happy for that. Again, a typo, anything. It's, as I said, is an ethical duty, is something that I strongly believe that we should do. And let me tell you, clients will be happy, and they will perceive it as a professional, you know, as a professional service, as good customer service. You won't believe every single time that this happens to me, and I pointed out to the clients, you won't believe the amazing comments that they make because I did that, because I helped them with that. So I think it just it's just another layer of customer service. It's just another layer that shows that you are really into the business, and you are really serious about your business. And if you're clumsy, if you're just there, it's the difference between being a professional and just being a machine. Someone that just sits on a computer and just translates for the sake of it, without any other feeling or any other care into the work. That's not a good translator. A good translator will look at the document, or look at the originals, will analyze every single aspect of the originals for possible difficult words, etc. In the case of big corporate content, ask the client if there's glossaries, etc. Some companies do have glossaries, or they have a certain terminology that they want used throughout all their documents and all their presence. So you need to be mindful of that. And then if something is important to point out, please do, because they really care about that. They will really see that as a professional service, as good customer service. They will recommend you. You won't see it's not like something that happens overnight, but it will happen. They will be happy with your service. They will come back if they need that type of service again, and they will recommend you to someone else. And that's what you want. Word of mouth is the best marketing campaign that you may have. So good customer service is a huge part of that. Without huge customer service and very good customer service, you won't have that word of mouth factor to your business, and that's what you want. You may spend thousands of dollars in expensive marketing campaigns. You may do lots of things. Even if you go on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok, whatever, and you just start creating content there, trying to advertise for your business, if you don't provide good customer service, you may get a few clients through that marketing campaign, but if you don't provide good customer service, it ends there. There's no there's not a continuation of that thing. It just stops there, because the person will hire your service, you don't provide good service, they're not happy with what you do, they walk away, they'll never come back. And that's not what you want. You want to keep going. And if you provide good service, if you give good customer service, and you look into these details, little details, but it's these little details that sometimes can make the difference in the customer's application. And if you just point out something as simple as this and help that client to get over the line with their application, it will make their life so much easier. And that's what we are here for. That's what I believe. So for today, I hope you like this first insider of May, and I hope it really helped understand that sometimes, pointing out a error, pointing out something, it's not really a big deal. And especially for the clients, it's not a big deal as per them thinking anything negative of it. In fact, it just works wonders. They just see it the opposite way. They just see it as you being a professional and being really committed and working for them, and really having attention to detail and attention to what you need to do in order to provide them with the best service. I think that's what it is. And for me, this is very important. Either I'm dealing with a new client and I'm doing a certified translation of a birth certificate or driver's license or something like that, or I am doing something for a big corporation and I'm translating or proofreading big reports or other things, or even a company constitution. I already did too. Um, and it's the same. The approach must be the same. If you see something that doesn't sound right to you, that may cause any confusion, that you are not 100% sure, you should always ask your client and you should always clarify the situation. Your clients will be thankful for that. They will see that you are committed to their business and you are committed to provide the best service to them. And they obviously will come back if they need, or if they don't need, they are very happy to recommend your services to someone else they know that might need your service. They may even be happy to leave you a good review. So this is all about providing good customer service. And actually, I think it's also about providing ethical services as well, because I think it's a bit unethical just pointing or identifying some error or typo or something and just let it go and not making the client aware of it. Because obviously, if we saw it, if we seen that there's something wrong there, um, why not making the client aware? I think that's something that for me, it's very simple to do. And so far, it never got me in trouble. It's exactly the opposite. The clients are actually thankful for that. So, let me know your comments. Let me know what you think of this. If you are a translator and if you have already faced situations like this, what do you do? Do you usually point out to your client, or what do you do? Because for example, with me, I had this happen a few times. There was one time that the name of the client was misspelled in an official document. This other document was regarding a date. So it may happen in different shapes. In corporate documents, sometimes little typos, little things that come up, and I always point out to my clients. And so far, they will be they have been very grateful for what I've done and for pointing it out to them. And I think that's part of good customer service. So leave me a comment. How do you do it? How do you deal with something like this? And of course, if you have any suggestions for another topic that you would like to see discussed in our Insider, just point it out as well. Leave a comment below and let me know. I'll be very, very happy to accommodate all your suggestions. Then, you know, put a like and subscribe the channel with a little click on the bell so you get a notification of a new Insider every week. Before I go, I would like to thank you all for watching. See you next week. Thank you. Bye.